place around us here, which is the National Day of Silence. The National Day of Silence is intended to recognize the many LGBT victims of domestic, sexual, and other forms of violence, and also to draw attention to the ways in which we narrate those events of violence so as to erase them, such that domestic violence and sexual violence are presented as issues that only affect heterosexual communities, as we ignore other marginalized communities. So to the organizers who allowed us to be here also talking about living wages, thank you so much for allying with us. Recently, our work with the Service Employees International Union has brought us into a beautiful and productive partnership with food service workers who stand in solidarity with us today, as we with them. Do I have any food service workers here today? We are also fortunate to have the support of the Arizona Students Association, who have helped us grow to represent the needs and interests of undergraduate students, such as lower tuition and access to affordable quality health care. I am very pleased to have witnessed the continued growth of this union and have high hopes for what we can accomplish in the coming months, with your help, of course.
It amazes me how you have all these things going on, 5 for 15, of course, and then, you know, in the backside, you kind of see the fight for the adjunct faculty. And, you know, they're always saying that we're the future, we have to do it, but how are we the future if they're not feeding our educators the right money and the right, you know, resources they need to be able to make sure that we're the future?
Next up, we have Brianna Noriega, who's standing here with us in solidarity as a representative of the fast food workers movement. Thank you, Brianna.
Hello, my name is Brianna. I work at McDonald's eating 805 for about 9 months. Making 805 is a struggle. To be able to get to work and have at least a meal a day, week to week I depend on donating plasma. The hours given, I had to constantly put myself on call just to earn a decent check. Balancing school and work was nearly impossible. To be able to keep a roof over my head, I had to drop out of high school. Suspended for 2 weeks for a piece of bacon. Working over sewage-covered floors, discriminated, yet still expected to work with a smile, and still they refused to give me a livable wage. If I can give up what means most to me, my blood, most importantly my education, then what's 15 to a multi-billion corporation? The abuse and the discrimination needs to end. Give us a union. It's what we need, it's what we deserve. And yes, we are worth it. Today I stand together with the faculty, the students, and the low-wage workers across the country. I want to be able to afford to go back to school to own my own business. United, we can win.
The knowledge and time that professors dedicate to create critically conscious students is not valued in the way that our adjuncts are treated as disposable objects. This needs to stop. We need to continue to support our adjuncts and our graduate students who continue to bring valuable knowledge into these spaces. We cannot expect to create effective learning spaces if our schools do not foster the bodies of knowledge that help make them possible. So today, I stand in solidarity with 5 for 15 to fight for students' rights to a better education. I believe that we will win. Gracias y que vivan los estudiantes! Woo!
There was a time when people, right, when governments used to invest in education because we knew that the most important thing we needed in the future was critical thinkers and innovators. It was a social investment. We did not need to see cash returns. It could not be tracked in a profits and losses ledger, but we knew it was working. We knew because we saw medical breakthroughs for public health and not for private profit. We knew it was working because we advanced notions of human rights in the academy while fighting those battles on our streets. We knew it was working because we valued intelligence and critical thought. We did not dismiss it as elitist. Now, we invest in ourselves, we work for ourselves, and we scoff at anyone who appears too critical, too intellectual, or too radical. What we once called radical, we now call common sense and moral decency, so let us not forget those lessons from the past today. The shifts taking place in Arizona could be encapsulated with a phrase like the privatization of education, the shifting of control of education from the public to private corporations. Terms like these are accurate, but can easily mask the truly detrimental nature of these changes, making them appear as a sound investment for Arizona's future, taken under the guise of austerity measures. Do not be confused. The state does not have a stable long-term budget. Right now, universities and community colleges are being cut as a means of managing cash flow, not investing into the long-term growth of this state. The effects of these cuts are many. To name a few, the most marginalized communities in Arizona will no longer have access to forms of education which are proven routes out of systemic poverty, most important of which are our community colleges. Measures to increase the admission and support of students of color, low-income students, Native students, and undocumented students will be indiscriminately dismissed as not cost-effective, as will the funding of amazing programs like that which allowed us to be here and speak, LGBTQ Affairs and their National Day of Silence. What this means is that only the students who can easily afford the skyrocketing tuition rates will be chosen to attend universities, often escaping themselves from the rising cost of education in their home states, like California, due to these exact same measures having already been taken place there. Finally, the attitudes of our students and our society regarding education will shift. We are already beginning to see this happen as politicians talk about a college education as a financial investment you should only make if you can afford it. Our education, it's messed up, I know. Our education should not be seen as an entitlement to the wealthy, but as a reflection of our individual capabilities and drives.
So, can you tell me what would you have said if you could have spoken at the mic?
Sure. What I would have said is, welcome all of you here today. This is great energy, the Fight for 15 and the Faculty Forward. And I've been to many of these types of activist events over the years, and one thing people feel is like, what can I do? Well, one thing you can do is it only takes 5 minutes. Go to pimagreens.org, click Register Green, and register your conscience. Register green. You can vote for anyone you want, but that makes a huge difference if you register outside of the two-party duopoly, the corporate parties. That sends a strong message. Registration. Register your conscience.
Thank you.
And I'd like to introduce Michael Montano. He's our College Greens Coordinator.
What's happening here with the Green Party?
Well, we just recently gotten status as like an official club, so we can use the mall whenever we want without actually having to rent it or anything. We're upping our registration a little bit. It's going. We have some more upcoming events. We're trying to find ways of like attracting more students as far as just like visual stimulus, like that tends to be big. So we're working on it. We have some fun games we're trying to introduce. But yeah, trying to grow the party on here so we actually have a little active community.
Thank you.
تعال ابن حلال